Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay, madam. Continue.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to all the participants to the national webinar on applications of fluid mechanics in engineering and technology, organized by Department of Mathematics, CBIT. Now, I take privilege of welcoming the guest, Professor P. Ravindra Reddy Garu, Principal, CBIT. He served the institution as a Dean R&D, Head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering. He has 31 years of experience in teaching industrial and research areas and guided 22 PhD scholars and published 6 patents. He has 310 publications to his credit. He was a chief and principal investigator for 23 research and 37 industrial projects and delivered 135 invited talks and organized 27 workshops and activities national and international level. He is also a recipient of UGC Fellowship Award, Engineer of the Year, and many. Also, he is a life member of 8 professional bodies. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to introduce our HOD, Department of Mathematics, CBIT, Professor P. Rajareddy Garu. He has a doctorate in mathematics and he completed his M.Tech in computer science from IET, and he has 22 years of experience in UG and PG level. Also, he is very active member in professional bodies. Thank you. Now, also, a special thanks to Professor B. Shankar Garu, HOD, a Department of Mathematics, CBR Engineering College. Also, he was a former professor, Dean, Faculty of Science, Usmania University. And I would like to thank Dr. Sandhya Reddy Garu, HOD, Department of English, CBIT, for joining us. Thank you. Now we begin our session with prayer song.
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रान्विता या वीणां वरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा पूजिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा।
Thank you. Now I request our principal sir to share few words. So what do you say?
Very good morning, all of you. Today's resource person, Dr. B.J. Garesha Garu, Professor Shankar Garu, Head of the Department, Professor Rajareddy Garu, my colleagues, Dr. Sandhya Reddy Garu, and all the delegates of today's webinar. on the fluid mechanics applications in engineering and technology. As I'm a mechanical engineer, so fluid mechanics is one of the area in which we used to do a lot of research and otherwise the practical things. As we all know, the mathematics is a backbone for many of our engineering courses. And for practice, so engineering, anything, the mathematics is the background. If it comes to the fluid mechanics, we would see the CFD applications in many of our daily, what the practice that our students and researchers does. We have done a lot of work in the area of the fluid mechanics, starting with the design of propellers. So all the propellers subjected to heavy sea, when it is undergoes, there is going to be a torque and the corrosion. All effects should be studied on the performance of the propeller. So all the warships nowadays and any other ship also have a propeller which makes the propelling of the ship. So that's a backbone. So all the mathematics that both the CFD and finite element analysis, we did a lot of work on that. So I think the applications of mathematics in engineering, because sometimes when we deal with equations without application, the people cannot realize what is practicability. But once we realize that these are all the relevance for the parameters that the equations what we build, whether it's going to be a differential form or integral form, when we come to a solution of the parameters fit into the variables of engineering flows or field or any member that undergoes these kind of effects, then people realize that yes, this mathematics has got a lot of potential and I need to practice so that future I can redesign and so that the life of these structures would be very high and safety can be ensured and the life expectations can be ensured before the product launched. So I think today's resource person, whatever he highlights, is going to be much useful for all the participants. Enjoy the day and have a better interaction, learn more and more, and which is useful for our daily practice. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable information. Now I request our HOD, Professor P. Rajareddy Garu, to share his views.
Respected Principal Ravindra Reddy Garu, respected Principal Dr. P. Ravindra Reddy Garu, CBIT, and today Chief Guest of the function, Dr. Girish Babu Garu, and my junior colleagues, Dr. Sharada and Amarnath, convener and co-convener of today's webinar, that is application of fluid mechanics in engineering and technology, and other colleagues. Good morning, one and all. Warm welcome to all of you. I hope today's session will enjoy the applications of fluid mechanics in engineering and technology. And now come to about my department. The Department of Maths currently has 12 faculty members who have vast research interest in different domains of mathematics and allied sciences, such as fluid mechanics, number theory, fixed point theory, operational research, and reliability theory. I am proud to say that 11 out of 12 faculty members are PhD holders, and the remaining one faculty member is pursuing PhD in applied mathematics. So far, Department of Maths has published 300 papers in various reputed journals at national and international level. Around 350 papers were presented in various national and international conferences. That around 10 STTP or conferences, FDP programs organized by Department of Mathematics so far. Now come to this webinar. In this month, this is the third webinar we are conducting. and already we conducted one national conference, national seminar in this month. So this, I hope today webinar is a multiple direction, that application of fluid mechanics in various engineering fields. I hope and I believe that everybody will appreciate and enjoy the applications of fluid mechanics of today guest speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Good morning, one and all. I, Dr. K. Sharda, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, CBIT, am the convener of this national webinar on applications of fluid mechanics in engineering and technology. Am I audible, sir?
Okay, audible.
I would like to begin by thanking our CBIT management for giving us continuous motivation. I thank our principal, Professor P. Ravindra Reddy Garu, and HOD, Department of Mathematics, Professor P. Raj Reddy Garu, for their guidance and encouragement. I also thank my colleague, M. Amarnath Garu, co-convener of this webinar, and other colleagues for their effort towards making this webinar a reality. Now, coming to the webinar, we received overwhelming response from the participants from various states. I thank all the participants for registering with us. The main objective of this webinar is to learn the basic concepts of fluid mechanics and applications in various fields, and also the classification of the fluid flows. Now, it's my immense pleasure to invite our speaker, Dr. B.J. Girisha Garu. Welcome, sir. As an Associate Professor and Chairman, Department of Mathematics, Kuvempu University, Karnataka. He is a doctorate in mathematics and postdoctoral from USA. His research area is computational fluid dynamics. He has 22 years of experience in teaching. He has guided 18 PhD and 6 MPhil students, and currently 8 are working under his supervision. Sir has completed 4 major projects as a principal investigator, and 1 is in progress. He has 301 research publications in national and international journals to his credit. Sir is also the author of 9 books. He is also a referee for PhD in reputed universities in 3 states, and also reviewer in 64 international journals. Sir is a recipient of the prestigious Raman Fellowship Award in the year 2015. Sir was also the visiting research scholar, Cleveland State University, USA, during the year 2014 to 15. Also, he is a member of 11 editorial boards and very active in 15 professional bodies. Thank you, sir. We are very much thankful to Dr. B.J. Girisha Garu for accepting our invitation. So before going to start the session, a small announcement to the participants. You all can post your questions related to the talk in the YouTube chat box. After completion of the session, we will discuss your queries. Thank you. Now I request our speaker to proceed. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Ravindra Reddy Garu, Principal in the IIT Hyderabad, and the HOD of the department, Raj Reddy Garu, Sharada, and Amarnath, and especially I would like to thank Guru Garu Shankar Sir, Bandari Shankar Sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share a few things with you. Today, I plan to deliver the lecture in 2 aspects. One is to give the introduction towards the research beginners, and then what are the applications of fluid mechanics. And especially I am going to take only one application, because in 1.5 hours, it is not possible to cover the whole thing. And if you are going to take more applications, then it is not possible to give the, basic information about the fluid mechanics. That's why I'm going to take little, and I'm going to explain one application in detail. And some of you may, so those who have gathered here may heard my lecture in Osmania sometime. So regarding fin structures, it is purely belongs to the mechanical engineering branch. In that, how we are going to use the concept of fluid mechanics. So now, I want to give the brief introduction about fluid mechanics, because for researchers, they should know what is fluid mechanics and how to start research, and what are the aspects and where, in which point we have to give the concentration to do research, because for beginners, it is very important thing. Without knowing these things, it's very difficult to begin the research. That's why fundamentals are very important thing. So in my first lecture, in my first half of the lecture, I'm going to give the importance towards the basic concepts of fluid mechanics and the interpretation of basic equations, so which are arises in fluid mechanics. Because as Professor Ravindra Reddy Garu sir pointed out that the whole world, the whole concept, nature, engineering, whatever the thing, it must be contains mathematics. Without mathematics, it is not possible to do anything. Everywhere, whatever the thing, there will be mathematics. Pen is there, behind the pen, there will be mathematics. Okay, fan is there, behind the fan, there will be mathematics. Our car is there, behind the car, there will be mathematics. Without mathematics, it is not possible to manufacture any mechanical, electronics, or electrical, whatever the thing. So for all the things, what we are using daily, they must contain concept of mathematics. Because most of the students, they have the lack of the knowledge to know about the applications of mathematics, where we are going to apply these kinds of mathematics. So especially differential equations. Usually, so we are going to solve many differential equations, linear, non-linear, homogeneous, non-homogeneous, in different forms, second order, nth order, first order, like that, and ordinary differential equations, partial differential equations, like that. We are going to solve many kinds of differential equations. But the students surely have the doubt why we have to solve these kinds of differential equations and what is the use? Only to the purpose of syllabus, or is there any applications in real world problems? One of the field is fluid mechanics. It is based on the applications of differential equation. Means it is modeled by differential equation. Any real world problems can be modeled in the form of differential equations, and it is the one best example to model in the form of a differential equation. Okay, it contains many differential equations. So continuity equation, momentum equation, energy equation, right? Conservation equation, mass equation, so like magnetic induction equation, like that. We come across many equations. By solving these equations, we can study the flow, right? So then what they interpret and how we have to, going to the research, that is very important thing. So you know, what is fluid mechanics? Before going to fluid mechanics, so just simply we know what is mechanics. Mechanics is the oldest physical science that deals with both stationary and moving bodies under the influence of forces. Here we are not going to specify fluid. So here we have taken only mechanics, means there will be the concept of, absence of fluid. Bodies means it may be in the form of solid or it may be in the form of liquid, whatever the thing. So we are going to take the bodies, so in both stationary and moving situation, right? So under that branch, you are going to take statics and dynamics. Statics means we are going to study only at rest. Dynamics means only in motion. Okay. Mechanics means so both in stationary and moving. I mean both in motion and stationary, static position. So next, fluid mechanics comes under the branch of mechanics. Here we are going to take purely fluids, right? Here we are going to study the behavior of fluids at rest as well as in motion, and the interaction of fluids with solids or other fluids at the boundaries. Under this branch also you come across fluid statics, means fluid at rest. Fluid dynamics means so fluid in motion, but we are not going to consider the pressure force. Okay, we are not going to consider the pressure force. But in fluid mechanics, so we are going to consider, in fluid kinematics, we are going to consider fluid in motion, but not in the presence of pressure. But in fluid dynamics, we are going to consider in motion as well as pressure. In mechanics, in motion, in stationary, pressure, and everything. Right. Again, under this branch, you come across hydrodynamics, hydraulics, gas dynamics, aerodynamics, meteorology, oceanography, hydrology, like that you come across different branches. So hydrodynamics purely so depends on the liquids. We are not going to study any gaseous structure. Okay, so only liquids, like that hydraulics, and also in gas dynamics purely it depends on gas. Only compressible fluids, not incompressible, right? In aerodynamics, we are not going to study the flow inside the given boundary. We are going to study, the changes, the body, over the bodies. So over the surface of the body, not inside the, either it is rectangular or spherical, cylindrical, or in triangular cross section, or in hyperbolic or elliptic. We are not going to study those things. So we are going to study the, aerodynamics means so
No.
only over the
Sir.
bodies. Okay.
Sir, sorry for interruption, sir. Just your screen is not visible, sir.
Screen is not visible.
Yes, sir.
I shared it.
But it not visible, sir.
One minute. Now?
No, not coming anything, sir.
So your screen is sharing, is passed.
ఆల్రెడీ నడుస్తుంది
Live. Now?
No, not visible, sir. Anything. Just started screen,
అడుగు
sir.
ఇప్పుడు అయినావు కదా
Suresh sir. Suresh sir, switch off.
అమర్
I shared it actually.
It's not showing, sir.
సార్ కైండ్లీ క్యాన్సిల్ అండ్ అగైన్ షేర్ సార్
Okay. Stop sharing.
Now we can share, sir.
నౌ యూ కెన్ షేర్ సార్ యూ షేర్ విత్ కంప్యూటర్ సౌండ్ సార్
Yeah. I think now.
నో సార్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ కమింగ్
What happened with this?
Net may be slow, sir.
Yeah, sir. One thing, sir. You screen share the main page, sir. First one.
Yeah.
Screen share, sir. You go for the screen share.
Yeah.
First one you take it, sir. Computer screen monitor.
One minute.
Your photo will be there on the screen. You share that one, sir, first.
Now, please see there.
No, sir. No, any file is not appearing. Only black screen, dark screen.
Sir, share your computer screen, sir.
Computer screen.
Maybe first one.
First one, sir.
So
Your
now,
all icons on the laptop will be appear on the screen.
okay. So here, screen share and screen. This is share computer, sound. Google.
Sir, while taking screen share, you share a screen, sir.
Screen.
Screen.
Yeah, actually, I shared many times, but I don't know what happened. Share computer sound. 1 minute. So now?
No, sir.
And minimize, go to top button and minimize the screen, sir.
Okay, once again, so I will exit and once again I will
Join, sir. That will be good.
Exit and join, sir.
సురేష్ ఎప్పుడు చెప్పు ఒకటి చెప్పు సార్ ఆపరేషన్స్ ఎలా అని.
సార్ ఆల్రెడీ చేసిండు సార్.
ప్రాబ్లం ఉన్నట్టు.
పర్లేదు కానీ
చేశాడు సార్ ఇంతకు ముందు సార్.
యాక్చువల్లీ నిన్న ట్రయల్ చేశాను, సార్ చేసిండు, మళ్ళీ మార్నింగ్ ఏమైందో మళ్ళీ.
ఓకే నో ప్రాబ్లం.
అదే మేడం, సార్ జాయిన్ అయ్యాడా? సార్.
Okay, now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Still it's not sharing.
No, sir. Shall I screen your PPT, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually I shared here. I don't know what happened.
Okay, no problem, sir. I'll share your PPT.
సురేష్, మా మేడం షేర్ చేస్తుంది, సార్కు ఆపరేటింగ్ ఇవ్వండి, సార్ కూడా.
That's better.
రిమోట్ సార్కి ఇవ్వండి.
కానొస్తుంది. Spotlighting your video for everyone. ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನಾನು, ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಯ್ತು? ಇನ್ನೊಂದಾರು ಶೇರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಲ್ಲ?
Yes.
Sir.
Okay.
Sir.
So shall I operate this?
Yes.
మేడం రిమోట్ అని ఉంటుంది, రిమోట్ ఇచ్చేసి.
రిమోట్ సార్కు ఇచ్చేయండి.
రిమోట్ కంట్రోల్.
రిమోట్
కంట్రోల్.
సార్ పేరు అది క్లిక్ చేసి సార్ పేరు క్లిక్ చేయండి, సార్కి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది.
Yes, sir.
Now you can operate through your screen, sir.
No, it's not operating.
You can scroll and you can get.
No. It's
Enter
not.
in. Enter, you can please. Okay, sir, you tell me, I'll do it.
Okay. So go to the next.
Okay, sir.
Just you can follow me. That's it. Huh?
Okay.
Next. So now, we have to think about, sorry for the interruption. So what is fluid? So as you know, the substance exists in three phases, that is in solid form, liquid form, and gaseous form. So here we are going to take both liquid and gaseous form as fluid, right? So again, fluid, so we are going to classify it is compressible and incompressible. So compressible are so taken as gaseous structure. So incompressible comes under, liquid comes under incompressible fluids, right? So here, there will be difference between liquid and gaseous state, gaseous phase. In liquids, there will be cohesive force is more, but in gaseous structure, the cohesive force is very less. And here, deformation occurs more, but in case of solids, so we can't find the deformation. There will be certain stage, up to that stage only the deformation occurs, and after that it ceases to deform. Because take a rubber band, so you can stretch certain extent, it will stretch, and if we stretch more, then it ceases to stretch and it breaks. It means that the deformation will not taken much in solids, but whereas in case of fluids, it deforms continuously under the action of forces. Means, so it is nothing but the stress is directly proportional to the strain. Here I have given one picture. In that picture, between two plates, I placed a rubber. So by applying the force tangential to that plate, then you can find the deformation there. So the shape changes, but it certain extent only it changes. But after that extent, so it's going to be break, right? Next. So, I'm not going to concentrate much on what is fluid and what is gas. So fluid means, liquid means, it occupies the shape of the container, but the space will be remain after its capacity. But whereas in case of gas, so there will be, so it occupies the whole space of the container. It has exact volume, but in gaseous state, it is not possible because it occupies the whole space of the container, and those things I think you have studied. So we can pass because we have to discuss about the applications of fluid mechanics also in the next slides. Next, please. So these are the differences between fluid and gas. Difficult to compress, often regarded as incompressible. But whereas in cases of gases, so easily compresses, change the volume so to the large extent, and occupies the fixed volume in liquid, but whereas in case of gaseous, it occupies the whole space of the container. So here the free space is formed if the volume of the container is larger, but whereas in case of gaseous state, it occupies the whole space of the container. Next, please. So applications of fluid mechanics. In all the branches of engineering, we come across fluid mechanics. Applications of fluid mechanics. So in mechanical engineering, design of pumps, turbines, air conditioning equipment, pollution control equipments, etc., and design of analysis of aircrafts, boats, submarines, all those things. So in most of the, mechanical engineering also in radiators of vehicles and bikes. So in almost all the field of mechanical engineering. So it has its own applications. And also in civilian engineering, transportation of river sediments, pollution of air and water, design of piping systems, food control system, and others. So you can find the applications of fluid mechanics in civil engineering also. In chemical engineering also, you can find the applications of fluid mechanics like design of chemical processing equipments. Next. In turbomechanics, in military, in automobile, in medicine field also, electronics also, energy, oil and gases. So in all the fields of engineering, you can find applications of fluid mechanics. At most, at last, you can see the last line, everything in our world is either in contact with, either in the form of liquid or in the form of gaseous state, right? So that's why, fluid mechanics is very important branch in the field of mechanics as well as physics as well as in the field of mechanical engineering. Okay, so it is very important branch. Next. So now we can classify the flows. To study this, we have to classify. There will be three kinds. So majorly two kinds. One is steady flow and other one is unsteady flow. So steady flow means the flow variables, flow parameters like velocity, temperature, density, viscosity, pressure, and all those things. So those parameter does not depend on the time variable, does not changes with the time factor. That flow is known as steady flow. If they depends on time factor, time parameter, then it is known as unsteady flow. Okay. So the term uniform flow means no change with the location, over a specified region, and that is so-called uniform flow. Next please. So you can find different kinds of fluids: ideal fluid, real fluid, Newtonian fluid, non-Newtonian fluids. Like that, you can find the different kinds of fluid. Ideal fluid means it's only imaginary, you can't get, because it should not have any viscosity. Okay, so there will be no viscosity. It is not possible to find no viscous fluid, but for the sake of reference, we are going to consider the water. But even water has also some sort of little, it may be very less, but it has some sort of viscosity. That's why it is only imaginary fluid. Real fluid means any fluid which possesses the viscosity, it is known as real fluid. Newtonian fluid and non-Newtonian fluid. So Newtonian fluid and non-Newtonian fluid, the classification depends on Newton's law of viscosity. Then what do you mean by Newton's law of viscosity? The shear stress is directly proportional to the rate of shear strain. Then you should know what is stress and strain. What is stress? Stress means the capacity of the force developed per unit area of the body. Capacity to develop unit force in the given body. Because if you stretch a rubber, it has to take the original shape. Then to take the original shape, it has to develop the internal force to shape, to get the original shape. That is so-called stress. In stress, we can classify in three types. One is shear stress, longitudinal stress, and volumetric stress. In shear stress, we are going to apply the force tangential to the body. Means, if it is the surface of the body, then we are going to apply the force in tangential direction. That is so-called shear stress. Suppose, take a rubber, if it is in the form of a square, okay, then you push it. So one side, only at the top, I am applying the force parallel to the surface, means it should be in tangential direction. Then it takes the diamond shape, right? It changes the shape, means shear stress gives, it changes the shape. Similarly, longitudinal stress. Longitudinal stress means you have to apply the force to the normal direction. Normal direction of the body. Then there will be change in the length of the body. That is longitudinal stress. Similarly, volumetric stress, it should be in binormal direction. Then you can see the change in the volume of the body. You can see the change in the volume of the body. That is so-called longitudinal stress. As a result, for shear stress, there will be shear strain. For I mean,
నేను
longitudinal
చూస్తున్నాను.
stress, there will be longitudinal strain. I mean, and also for volumetric stress, there will be volumetric strain. Corresponding strain will be there. Strain means a fractional change occur in the body, right? Here, so Newton's law of viscosity says shear stress is directly proportional to the rate of shear strain. Any fluid satisfies this law, then the fluid is known as Newtonian fluid. If they not obey this law, then the fluid is known as non-Newtonian fluid, right? So for example, water can be taken as Newtonian fluid because you can freeze it. It occupies the, solid structure. Then again heat it, it occupies the same, liquid structure again. So boil it, it occupies the gaseous state. So again, freeze it, it occupies the liquid state. You can't change, you can't find any change. So it modifies. But take the blood or milk or any sugar solution. So you can find the change. So boil the sugar solution. So it occupies, the solid structure. The viscosity goes on, increases. And after certain point, it will take the almost solid structure. And again, without adding, so it is not possible to take the original structure, right? That's why, so it will become a non-Newtonian fluid, right? Please, next. Non-Newtonian fluid, right? Next. So, to study the flow patterns, so you should know what are streamlines, vortex lines, streak lines, timelines, and those things. You know what is streamline, what is vortex line. So streamline means if you draw a curve for the particles of the fluid and the tangents to that curve at each and every point will be in the direction of velocity vector. If you draw a curve in the fluid, so the tangents to it at each and every point of that curve, they should be in the direction of velocity. Then we call that line as streamline. So if we draw a line and take a curve in the fluid and draw the tangents to each and every point, but the direction of the tangents are in the form of vorticity vector, so then it is known as vortex lines, okay, like that. So streamlines, path lines, streak lines, timeline, we are going to take different, because to study the flow patterns, they are very important concepts. Next, please. So now come to the basic equations of fluid mechanics. For the beginner's purpose, I'm going to take only two equations. One is continuity equation and other one is momentum equation and simple equations. I'm not going to take energy equation, magnetic induction equation, and concentration equation and all those things. To explain, to simply, to understand in the simple form, I'm going to take only these two equations. One is continuity equation, mass neither be created nor be destroyed. It is given by del rho by del T plus divergence of rho into V is equal to 0. Where rho is the density of the fluid and V is the velocity of the fluid velocity. And conservation equation is given by, so sum of the force acting on the fluid must be equal to 0. So that result says, the resultant equation is given by rho into del Q by del T plus Q dot del of Q is equal to minus gradient of P plus rho into G plus mu into del square Q. I think you know the terms, each and every term. Rho is density, here Q is taken as velocity of the fluid and P is the pressure, and so G is the gravitational force and mu is the viscosity term, right? So here the first term del Q by del T gives the momentum term, Q dot del of Q gives the inertial force, and gradient of P gives the pressure force, rho into G gives the body force, okay, and so del square viscous force, right? So it gives viscous force.
Can we get the PPT and
different kinds of forces. The sum of those forces must be equal to 0. Then the fluid must be stationary. As you know, it is an open problem. Till now, no one has found the solution for this equation as it is. Means for the momentum equation. So it is not, till now it is open problem. So no one has found the analytical solution, means closed form solution for this equation as it is. You can take the restrictions and you can so simplify the equation, then you can find the analytical solution. But for this equation as it is, this is second order highly non-linear partial differential equation. Second order highly non-linear partial differential equation, and it is still, so it is open problem. No one has found the solution for this equation. And you know, Euler equation of motion. What is the difference between Euler equation of motion and so conservation of momentum equation? So both are one and the same at some certain point. At which point? In which context? Both are one and the same. So Euler equation does not contain the viscous term, means mu into del square Q. But we know that in real world problem, there will be a chance. I mean, there will be a possibility to get only real fluids. You know what do you mean by real fluid? Real fluid means it possesses the viscosity, means viscous effects must be there. So without viscous effects, it is not possible to study the actual pattern of the flow. So if you are going to take Euler equation, then viscous term is so invisible, means the term is neglected, then it does not give the accurate results for the flow pattern. That's why, so this equation, the improved version of, so our Euler equation of motion. Euler equation as it is, I mean same equation, but that equation does not contain the viscous term, okay? I mean the viscous force. Apart from that, all the terms, so same as it is in conservation of momentum equation. Now we can so try to find the solution for this equation, means try to study the solutions. I mean study the real world problems using these equations. But as you know, it is not possible to find the analytical solution because I told you still it is open problem. No one has found the closed form solution for this equation as it is. So as it is means then we have to take some restrictions. By taking restrictions on this differential equations, we can find the solutions, right? So gravitational force is neglected, pressure force is neglected, inertial force is neglected, the flow is not time dependent, then only you are going to get second order linear, so partial differential equation. And if you are going to take the dimension of the flow, if it is one dimensional, two dimensional, three dimensional, oh, it varies only along x-axis, then two variables gone. It becomes simply ordinary differential equation. Like that, by putting the restrictions on the equations, so our, I mean, elders have tried to find the solution and they get succeeded, right? So best example is the Katte flow. Please next. The Katte flow is the first solution for this equation. So it is in the name of, I mean, honor of the mathematician. I mean, we are calling mathematician actually. So he was the physics professor in University of Angers. Okay, so from French in 19th century. In 19th century only. So he find the solution for this equation under some restrictions. So what are the restrictions? So he formulated the problem like the fluid is viscous and the flow is between two plates, infinite plates, and one plate is moving and other plate is constant. Or you can take both the plates are constant also. That also becomes Katte flow. But to, I mean, trigger the flow, there will be pressure gradient. But by not considering the pressure gradient, just by moving the plate, so we can trigger the motion. That's why, so he has taken one plate is moving and lower plate is at stationary position, then the flow takes place. Then we can take, I mean, we can see how the flow pattern will look like, right? So next, please. Next. So you can see here, one upper plate is moving with capital U. Sorry, there you can find only small u there. That is capital U. So with the velocity capital U, uniform velocity, and the lower plate is at stationary, right? So between two plates, and the plates are separated by certain distance h, certain distance h. Okay. Now here pressure gradient is absent, no inertial force. Okay, no time variable. I mean, we have not taken unsteady flow, we have taken steady flow, right? And the gravitational force is absent. I mean, under conservative body forces, right? So then your original equation reduces to only the the viscous term mu into del square Q is equal to 0. But in Q, you can find three parameters. One is U, velocity, component of velocity along x-axis, V along y-axis, omega along z-axis. But here, we are studying the flow takes place only along x-axis, right? Then there is no question of, so V and omega means velocity only in x direction, means Q becomes, so U into I only, okay? And again, U is function of four variables, four independent variables. One is time and position variables, x, y, z. Here, the length of the channel is not known. It is infinite length. That's why I'm not going to consider that variable. And the depth of the channel is not known. That's why I'm not going to consider that variable. I know the width of the channel. So only I know width of the channel means only one variable and time independent because steady flow. That's why it is function of only z means width of the channel. Then that equation reduces to this form del square U by del y square. Here I have taken the width of the channel as y direction. That's why del square U by del y square is equal to 0. Now you have to consider the boundaries. So between two channels, so one plate is moving and one plate is stationary because one layer is taken to the surface of this plate. That's why the velocity of the fluid on the surface of this plate is 0 because this plate is stationary. But this plate is moving, one layer is taken to the plate. That's why, so as the plate moves, at the same velocity, the fluid so also moves. That's why at this boundary, the velocity is 0, and at this boundary, the velocity is equal to the velocity of the plate. Means, so we have taken uniform velocity capital U. That's why the boundary conditions becomes U is equal to 0 at y is equal to 0, and U is equal to uniform velocity capital U at y is equal to h. H means at the upper plane, right? Now, so you know how to solve the differential equations. Simply second order homogeneous simple equation. By solving this ordinary differential equation, you are going to get the solution as, and using the boundary conditions, U of y is equal to capital U into y by h. Means it varies linearly because it's a linear function. In the figure, you can see the linear line, blue line, it is linear line. The variation is like that. The velocity is much at the upper plate because it moves with the plate, and as the length of the channel decreases, the width of the channel decreases, you can find there will be low velocity. Exactly at the y is equal to 0 means at the lower plate the velocity is 0. So this is practically it is true and mathematically it is true. This is the first attempt studied by Katte, right, in 19th century, right? So he has taken a lot of restrictions. One is unstudied, the term, momentum term gone, no inertial force gone, right? No pressure force gone. In the absence of body force, gravitational force gone. Only by taking the viscous force, he studied, and that result so valid with the practical situation, right? So next means you can study like this by increasing the concepts like, no, so pressure gradient is there, no, viscous, gravitational force is there, or unsteady flow is taken, like that. By complicating the equation goes on complicated, and they try to find the analytical solution in different forms by different mathematicians or physics people, right? So in different stages, and they find the solution. Let us see how they find the solution, right? Next, please. Again, Katte flow has taken, but pressure gradient is considered. Plate is moving, the flow is triggered by plate, but here pressure gradient is also considered. By taking the pressure gradient, okay, now equation becomes so little different, okay, little different equation. So because pressure gradient come into the picture, so non-homogeneous equation, then you can find the equation del square U by del y square minus P by mu. So P is taken as constant pressure gradient. I have taken only constant pressure gradient. Now the equation reduces, non-homogeneous ordinary differential equation, and the boundary conditions are same. Boundary conditions are same. At the lower plate, velocity is 0. Upper plate means, so it equal to the velocity of the plate. So by solving the equation, you can find the solution at the last. Uy is equal to like that. Here there will be one small mistake at the, last term. Small u into capital Y by h, but that is not small u. That will be capital U into Y by h. Capital U into Y by h. So see there, if the pressure gradient is absent, means P is equal to 0, then the solution valid with the previous one. Is it right? So if P is equal to 0, then it remains only, so velocity term is equal to capital U into Y by h. It is nothing but the previous Katte flow. So, and you can find the flow pattern in the graph. Okay. So this is, the flow pattern, so becomes different from the previous one by considering the pressure gradient. And you can see there, almost at the center of the channel, you can find the more velocity, okay, more velocity as the pressure gradient increases. As the pressure gradient decreases, it drags, okay, it pulls back the flow, means for negative values of P, usually, so we have taken positive values. So at 0, it exactly with the previous one, linear function. So as P increases, so you can find, so nearly at the center of the channel, the velocity is more, right? Next please. So unsteady Katte flow. Up to this stage, we have not, so we have increased one parameter, that is pressure. And in this problem, we have increased one more parameter, that is time variable. So in those two studies, only ordinary differential equation. We come across only ordinary differential equation. But here, so variables are more, independent variables are more. Means, so one is position variable y, one more is time variable t, right? Now the equation becomes partial differential equation. Okay. So we come across partial differential equation and we have not taken any pressure gradient. If we take pressure gradient, so non-homogeneous partial differential equation, so much complicated when compared to this problem, right? Here, the pressure gradient is absent, simply unsteady problem. So now the equation will becomes partial differential equation, second order partial differential equation, homogeneous and linear, right? So once homogeneous and linear, we can find the solution very easily using separation of variables or Laplace transform method or Fourier transform method or eigen expansion method or any kinds of separation of variables, any kinds of methods. So you can find the solution. There you can observe that when time variable coming to the picture, there will be initial condition along with the boundary conditions, So you have to consider the initial conditions, and the initial condition is at time t0. We have not started the flow. The velocity is 0, right? So u of 0 comma y is equal to 0. That is the initial condition, and the boundary condition are same in the previous cases. By taking those boundary conditions, you come across the solution uy is equal to like this in different position, in different form. There also you can find that, so it coincides with the first problem when time t is equal to 0. The solution capital U into small y by h minus 2 into u so and so, summation of so and so, it becomes 0 when, so your, so time variable becomes 0, then that term must be equal to 0. It should be coincide with the first problem, right? That is the beauty of mathematics, right? So here we have increased the parameters and we are finding the differences in the solution, but same solutions coincides with the previous one by putting the absence of those force, means by putting 0 for those variables. If you put 0, you are going to get those solutions, previous solutions, right? Next please. So using these, you can find, you can study the flow in pipe, cylindrical pipe and those things. So simply you are going to get, same equation but in the form of polar coordinate system, cylindrical polar coordinate system, and the flow pattern must be the same. Okay, so they are, I mean, Poisson-Lee flow, plain Poisson-Lee flow, Hagen-Poisson-Lee flow, and all those things, they are related to Katte flow only. But Stokes considered the different problem, means it must be unsteady in the absence of pressure, gradient, no inertial force, no gravitational force, as same in the third, I mean, Katte flow, right? So the equation becomes same thing, but here he has taken only the lower plate is there, no upper plate. So he has not taken the upper boundary. There y is equal to 0 and y is equal to h, but his h is not there. It is open space, only lower plate is there. H y is equal to 0, but at the top y tends to infinity, means so we don't know the height of the channel, right? We don't know the height of the channel. Then the boundaries becomes different. Only so he has taken y of u of y comma 0 is equal to 0, that is the initial condition, and u of 0 comma t means exactly at the surface. It must be equal to the velocity of the plate. That's why the plate velocity is taken as capital U. That's why it should be equal to the plate. Only at the bottom the plate is moving. At the top you can't find the difference, because observe the fish moving in the pond. So while fish is moving in the pond, along with the fish some water will be flowing. But at the top we can't find any disturbance in the water. Is it right? In the same pattern, so along with the plate there will be a flow of water. So along with the plate, I mean with the same velocity, but at the top means at the potential flow region you can't find any, I mean flow pattern, right? Means the velocity must be 0 as the height of the channel increases, means as y tends to infinity the velocity must be 0. Only you can find the difference in the boundaries. But so here the equation is same. By solving this equation, next please. Next, by solving this equation, you are going to get the solution. But to solve this equation, they have adopted different method. You can use any method, but they have adopted different method. That is self-similar variable method, means similarity transformation method. Means so we are going to define a new variable with two variables, x and y and t. We are going to define a new variable eta that is given by the, so that is the different mathematics. Okay, by defining those variables, that different partial differential equation reduces to ordinary differential equation, that is f double dash plus 1 by 2 into eta into f dash of 0, right? So you can find this is second order ordinary differential equation, variable coefficients, not so constant coefficient. If they are constant coefficient, then it is very easy to find the solution by finding the characteristic roots of the polynomial. But here with the variable coefficient, it is little difficult when compared to that one. Then by solving this differential equation, especially using Laplace transform, because so error function is there, you know, error function, I think you may know it, error function is defined in Laplace transform technique. That is error of t is equal to, I think, square root of 2 by pi into integration from 0 to t into so t into dt, right? So I think so. That is the error function. So and complementary error means 1 minus error function is known as complement error, and that is denoted by ERRFC. ERRFC is nothing but complement error, means 1 minus error is nothing but complement error. Okay, so using Laplace transform technique for the ordinary differential equation, they find the solution u is equal to capital U into complement error of y by so square root of 4 nu t. This is the solution for the Stokes problem. Means the plate is moving, lower plate is moving, and the upper boundary is not considered, so it tends to infinity. Then the equation. So here you can see the complexities, right? So first one is very easy, second one is little difference, so you can find difference in the, so it becomes non-homogeneous ODE. In third problem it becomes PDE. Now it is PDE with infinite boundary conditions. Infinite boundary PDE with infinite boundary condition. Like that, they are making different, difficulties. So today also we are doing the same thing. Means, so we are releasing the restrictions. So there inertial forces are not considered. Now we are considering inertial forces. Acceleration due to gravity is not considered. Now we are considering acceleration due to gravity and porous term. Additionally, we are putting porous term, magnetic field, right? So then our equation goes on complicated. But as you know, it is not possible to find the analytical solution as it is for 4 variables. That's why we are tackling with numerical solution. If you want to find the analytical solution, some extent again we have to put some restrictions. Okay, next please. So before going to this, I think one guy from Andhra Pradesh called me 3 days back regarding the elliptical boundary conditions. Sir, if the region is rectangle, no problem, we can find the boundary. We can, fix the boundary. If it is square, we can fix the boundary. If it is cylindrical, circular cross section, then we can fix the boundary. Then if they don't have the circular or rectangular shape, then what we have to do, like the cross section is elliptical form and cross section is hyperbolic form, cross section is triangular form, cross section is parabolic form, then the flow pattern becomes different. Because in elliptical case, you can find in circular, as radius changes every point, so it denotes at each and every point. Or in ellipse, so there will be 2. One is major axis and another one is minor axis. In the similar case, so hyperbola also. In triangle, so for this is different and for this is different and for this is also different. That's why there you can find the different boundary conditions. I had these boundary conditions in one more slide. Actually, that is not sharing here. I don't know. At the last, I will try to show you. So how you have to consider the boundary conditions for those also. Actually, so those who want, please go through with Y.B. Reddy. He has published the paper around 80s and 90s. 80s and 90s, he has published the paper, very good paper with elliptical boundary conditions. So he wrote in a beautiful manner. So elliptical boundary condition, I referred his paper so long back, and I also did some work on elliptical boundary conditions and hyperbolic boundary condition. But for me, that paper was the actually inspiration to do all those things. Y.B. Reddy. So in 80s and 90s, right? Next, please. So now, concept of boundary condition. As you know, the momentum equation is so highly nonlinear, so it is very difficult to find a solution. Till now, it is open problem for the analytical solution. So Ludwig Prandtl in 1904, Ludwig Prandtl in 1904 tried to find the solution. Means try to reduce the complexity of the differential equation to some extent. Reduce the complexity of that partial differential equation to some extent. In 1904, he defined the new concept, that is so-called concept of boundary layer, and he has published and presented that paper, that concept in a third international Congress of Mathematics, held in Germany. So in that, he has defined that the region of the flow, he has divided the region of the flow into 2 regions. One is boundary layer region and the other one is potential flow region. Boundary layer region means in the vicinity of the boundary, means surface of the boundary. There will be, because it is not moving, so there will one fluid layer is sticking to that surface of the body. Due to static position of the fluid, so the above layer also, experiences the friction force, and above that also experiences friction force. It experiences to the certain level, and that level is known as boundary layer region. After that level, here the viscous force is considered. here the viscous effect is considered. But after that, I mean, certain extent, the fluid flows very so easily, means that is so called, means there the viscous effects are considered to be negligible. The viscous forces are not considered, and that region is known as potential flow region. Using these concepts, he has, I mean, derived the equation, new equations. I mean, using the same, your Navier-Stokes and the same called, I mean, momentum equation. So he reduced the equation into certain boundary layer equation. Let us see how they are. Please, next. Boundary layer, next, please. So these are the, so I'm not going to show all those things, right? Because it's a big calculation. He reduced the equation into this simple form. So even this is also a non-linear partial. Observe the second differential equation. That is non-linear second order partial differential equation. Okay, second order partial differential equation. Itself, this is also a so difficult, I mean, difficult to find the solution. But he has not succeeded to find a solution for this equation. But his student, Blasius, in 1904, again, he reduced this equation to some easier extent, and then he found the solution, and that is known as Blasius solution. Blasius was the student of Prandtl. So in 1908, for this equation, he tried to find the solution, but he reduced the solution to some extent, means just so he assumed that capital U is constant, then the term disappears for that solution, I mean for that equation. So he found the solution using method of series solution. That is also not fully closed form solution. He found only series solution, semi-analytical solution, right? Series in the form of series, right? Blasius only find the solution in the form of series, okay, in 1908. Okay, next please. So now, based on these equations, okay, based on these equations, again Stokes find the solution. So for the, I mean, flow problem. So here, instead of taking the simply moving plate, he has taken the oscillating plate. He has taken the oscillating plate with some oscillation omega. I mean, so omega is the frequency of oscillation. So that oscillation is considered as U into cos omega t in x direction. This is the plate. So it is oscillating. Okay, for this oscillation, due to oscillation only, the flow takes place. And for that flow, he found the solution. Okay, so the solution gives, please next. So here, second order partial differential equation homogeneous only, but the boundaries are different. There only U of 0t is equal to capital U, but here capital U into cos omega t. Okay, and in the potential flow region, I mean above that region, as your y tends to infinity, the velocity so is 0, means the fluid does not experiences the motion of the lower plate. Okay, because here only the vibrations are takes place at the bottom only, at the top. So those vibrations does not, I mean, disturb the, I mean, the surface of the, I mean, fluid at the top level, right? That's why the velocity is 0. For that, to find the solution, again, you can use any method, but he used the method of separation of variables. For that, he wrote the solution as U into real of e power I omega t into f of y. E power I omega t is function of t and f of y is function of y only. But e power I omega is known function, but f of y is unknown function to be determined. We don't know what is f of y. By substituting this equation in that second order differential equation, and he found the solution. Please next. He found the solution. So in the form, so U of y comma t is equal to last equation. U of y comma t is equal to capital U into e power so and so and 2 cos of that, and the flow pattern look like so this one. So you can see the flow pattern there, right? So this is about the Stokes flow problem, about the, I mean, Stokes second problem, right? So like this, we are going to complicate the equation and we are going to study the problem. In medicine field also, to take the medicines, I mean, you have to study the flow pattern. To measure the blood pressure, you have to study the flow pattern. In every field, you have to study the flow pattern. In engines, car engines mainly, so this one, radiator. To cool the engine, so we should have the radiator, right? So that radiator cools the engine, but in radiator, purely the mechanism due to the fin structure. One is best example of fin structure, and also in radiator and also in centrifugal modes. So wherever, so these are all depends on the motion of fluid, means so fluid mechanics concepts. Let us see how, so we can study the fluid, I mean concept of fin structure using fluid mechanics. Okay, so we can see the, I mean, application of fluid mechanics in mechanical engineering. It is, I'm going for so fast. So with that fin structure, I think some of you may heard that lecture also. Let us see those who have not heard. So you can see how we can use the concept of fluid mechanics to study the, I mean, heat resistance, I mean, cooling of the engine using fluid mechanics, right? With simple equations, right? So please, give me the this one screen. I'm going to share new one. I'm going to. I want to share new video.
Okay, you can share.
So is it visible?
No, sir.
Then what we have to do?
Otherwise, you send me the file, I'll share this.
Oh, it will take time, you know. It will take time. 1 minute, I will try. Okay. So I will send, as well as I'm going to explain the introduction about those things. So by that time, so you can share that video also, right? Okay.
Sir, which one? Previous one, sir?
One minute. So please tell me your email ID.
To send through WhatsApp, sir.
Through WhatsApp.
It's okay, no problem.
Rakesh.
Yeah.
Rakesh. Rakesh illa.
I request participants to post the questions in the YouTube chat box.
Yeah.
Email we can discuss.
Sindhu. अर्जेंट करे रखना।
శారద మేడం
సార్ tell me, sir.
లేదంటే మెయిల్ తోటి పంపించమనండి ఏదైతే
అదే సార్ మెయిల్ జస్ట్ యూ టేక్ సార్ టేక్ మై మెయిల్. హలో సార్.
Hello.
Sir, just mail ID you note down, sir, if it is possible.
One, please tell me.
KSARA BA underscore maths MATHS @cbit.ac.in.
At
CBIT dot AC.in.
Okay. Within 1 minute.
Okay.
Now you can see. Right?
I didn't receive, sir.
No. So I sent the mail.
Shit.
You can download it, right?
I didn't receive your mail from you, sir. KSARADA, sir.
Yeah. Just now I
And,
sent it.
I didn't receive.
KSARADA.
_ maths. Yes, sir, I got it. No problem.
You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay, so now, the concept of fin. What do you mean by fin? Fin means any extended surface of a body. Assume this is a body. These are the extended surfaces. Okay, these are the extended surfaces, and these structures are known as fin structures. So for this hand, this palm, our fingers acts as a fin structure, and for our body, our hands acts as a fin structure. Okay, even our ears also a fin structure to this head, right? So any extended surface to a particular body is known as a fin structure. And what are the uses of fin structures? So fin structures have many kinds of uses. For aeroplane, the different use, and for boats, there will be different use. For fishes, there will be different use. Okay. Here, we are going to use the fin structures for the heat exchanging program. I mean, as a heat exchanger, we are going to use fin structures, mainly in radiators, and also air circuits, air conditioners, and also gas geysers, and also your electric geyser. So like that, and also centrifugal modes in computers, we are going to use the fin structures as to control the heat, to resist the heat. Either you may use it to increase the heat, or you may use it to decrease the heat from the body. To decrease the heat from the body, or heat to supply the heat to the body also. Right.
Sorry, excuse me, sir.
Okay.
Stop. Your sharing is, you can stop, sir. Then only ma'am will share, sir.
Okay.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Share chain.
Already shared.
Not visible.
Okay. Is it visible?
No.
Yes.
Share it, ma'am.
Yeah, sharing, sir. Fast it is coming. Share screening is fast. Okay. Is it visible now?
Yeah, visible, but PPT is not visible. Your screen is visible.
Oh. Now, sir?
No.
No, nothing showing on this.
Blank. I think you are not downloaded.
No, it's done. Now, is it visible, sir?
No.
No.
Rakesha, while you screen share ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ.
Madam, మీరు ఆఫ్ చేయండి ఒకసారి. I will share it. Maximum.
Okay.
మీరు stop చేయండి. Screen share, you can stop it.
Yeah.
Screen share ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
I'm sure. I stopped.
Share ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Now it is visible, sir.
Is it visible now?
Yes, it's visible now.
From me?
Ochunda?
Yes, check it,
From
sir.
me? From me, is it visible?
Sir, it is okay, sir.
It is okay. It is visible, sir, now. You can.
From me?
No, I think.
My screen is visible.
No, sir. We are sharing
No.
the screen, sir. We are sharing
Huh?
the screen.
I am sharing the screen. Is it visible?
No, sir. Already.
Sir, we are shared, sir. Not a problem. We can continue the lecture.
Okay. Right. So go to the next.
What is split?
Next. So see these, I mean, equipments, I mean, so from electronics and those things, you can find in computer boards and all those things. These structures are known as fin structures. You can find for different, I mean, objects have the different shape of fin structures. So there will be different fin structures. Okay. Next. Please, I mean, so skip this. So here also you can find the fin structures. They are in the shape of pin. Here also you can find they are in the shape of pin. They are the fin structures, F-I-N, fin structures in the form of pin, P-I-N, right? Next. So in motorbike heads, so these structures, so you can find some line structure, you know, that line structure is known as the fin structure. They are in the form of rectangle. So in all bikes, you can find these structures. These are because to reduce the heat of the body. These fin structures are used to reduce the heat of the body. I mean, in the engine, from the engine, heat from the engine. Otherwise, so if the heat increases, every metal have their own melting point. After that melting point, so it's going to melt. That's why we have to avoid the heat, to reduce the heat, to avoid the heat. I mean, to maintain the heat, so of a particular engine. So we are going to use the fin structure, and the structures are in the form of rectangular. Okay, so you can find rectangular, triangular. So I mean, pin shape, radial shape, like that. You can find different shapes of fin structures, and different shapes of fin structures have different performance. So one shape is very good to reduce or enhance the heat. One structure is not good to enhance or reduce the heat. Okay, let us see later. So now these are the fin structures. Okay, next. So here also you can find fin structure. Next. So in centrifugal motor also you can find the fin structure to maintain the heat, I mean temperature of the body, right? Next. Now, so we have taken one fin structure. This structure in the, I mean, rectangular shape. Here you can find the flow direction. See here, if this body is get heated, so these are the fin structures. So by default, the temperature transfers from this body to these fin structures, right? But these fin structures are allowed in the air. So because air passes through between these fin structures, and due to convection, so this temperature, I mean, so reduces because of the air passing through these fin structures, and that is due to convection. And due to conduction, the body, I mean, heat from this body to transfer from this body to these fin structures due to conduction, and due to convection, here the temperature reduces. This process goes on, I mean, this is continuous process, and due to reduction in the temperature, this body gets cooled. I mean, this is maintained at some constant temperature, right? So this is the concept. Let us see next. Okay, but here we have taken simple example. Next, here due to heat conduction, so temperature from this body to, it passes from this body to this body. I mean, this is the fin structure, and so that is the body, right? This is the flow direction. What I show, flow direction, due to air passes on that surface, that goes on, I mean, it goes on, decreases the temperature, right? It goes on cools, it gets cools. Next. Next.
Next, sir.
So we can see different shapes of thin structures. So I am not going to concentrate on those things. Next, please. My intention is to give one simple example. Next. So here, by using Newton's law of cooling, okay, so we are going to formulate the equation, I mean the practical problem into the mathematical form, and that mathematical form simply gives the second order, at the last you can find the second order ordinary differential equation. It gives second order ordinary differential equation using the Newton's law of cooling. So we are going to derive the second order ordinary differential equation. By solving the solution to this equation, so you can get the solution, and the solution gives the interpretation towards the process, how the temperature is reducing or how the temperature is increasing and those things. Let us see the importance of thin structures. Next please. So here the equation is reduced and the solution, go back please, and the solution will become, so this is the solution. QF is, Tx minus T infinity divided by Tb minus T infinity is equal to like that. That will become the solution, but the solution depends on the boundary conditions. So whatever the boundary conditions, because so you can take insulated boundary condition or different boundary condition, means tip is insulated, not insulated, and it is maintained at some temperature. Like that, we are going to take different assumptions, and those assumptions gives the different boundary conditions. Depends on those conditions, we can see the solutions. Next please. So here you can see, go back. Here you can see the solution for the different boundary conditions. These are the, middle column and second column gives the solution for the boundary conditions in the first column. Convection heat transfer condition, adiabatic condition means insulated, and specified temperature. At given temperature, you are going to get different solution. The solution, general solution is same, but for the particular solution, for the complete solution, to remove the arbitrary constants, you should know some boundary conditions, and for these respective boundary conditions, we are obtaining this solution. Now, depend on these, we are going to study one simple example. Go to the next. So there we can see, so one pot is there. In that pot, we are boiling the water. So and that pot contains one handle of certain 20 centimeter long and 3 centimeter wide. So the length of the handle is 20 centimeter. Width is, through 3 centimeter. Thickness is 0.5 centimeter. And the other parameters are given. And the metal is aluminum. Okay. And the water is boiling. Okay. Water is boiling at some 100 degree. Boiling means it will be at 100 degree Celsius only. So certainly the heat transfers from pot to the handle. Okay. Is it right? Pot to the handle. But at the 100 degree Celsius, is it possible to touch the handle or not? Means we have to study what is the temperature at the handle. Means as the length of the handle increases, easily you can say the temperature goes on decreases, because at the here exactly at the, if it is the handle exactly at the wall, the temperature is more. As the length increases, the temperature goes on decreases, because due to convection only, because air is circulating over this one, right? Next. So for this formulation, we found the solution, right? We found the solution. Same equation, same solution, but so here specified parameters are there. By substituting those parameters in that equation, we can find that. Go next. The solution gives the pattern, the pattern temperature distribution is given by as the length of the handle increases, the temperature goes on decreases. At the exactly at the wall, surface of the wall. So here 100 degree Celsius, because it is boiling, it meets the boiling temperature, means 100 degree Celsius. Exactly at this point, the temperature is 100 degree. But as the length of the handle increases, temperature goes on decreases. Is it right? But at the end, you can see that the temperature is 87 degrees Celsius. This is for aluminum. Okay. Instead of aluminum, because you know aluminum is a good conductor when compared to some metals. Okay. So silver is good conductor when compared to aluminum also. Like that, gold is good conductor when compared to silver. Like that. But aluminum is better when compared to iron and other metals. Okay. Let us see. Next. So instead of taking the aluminum, if we consider steel, okay, stainless steel, then what happens? How the temperature distribution takes place? Means, so here conductivity parameter is different. Everything is same. Length of the handle, thickness of the handle, width of the handle, everything is same. Only the metal is different. Instead of aluminum, I have taken stainless steel. Here, the thermal conductivity parameter is more for aluminum. Conductivity is more in aluminum when compared to steel, right? So here, by substituting that parameter K in that equation, you can see that, see there, next. So exactly at the wall, temperature is 100 degrees Celsius, but as the length of the handle increases, the temperature goes on, decreases, and at the end, it reaches the temperature 37.3 degrees Celsius. See there, in aluminum, it is about 87 degree, but in the case of steel, so it is around 37 degree. So it is the simple calculation, and it is obey with the practical also. Experiment also, it obeys with the experiment also. That's why, so we can use the concept of fluid mechanics to study these fin structures. Have many applications in real world problems. I'm not going to explain all those things. It is one of the best example, best application of fluid mechanics in the field of mechanical engineering. Okay, by this I'm going to stop my lecture. If you wish to ask any questions, feel free to ask any questions, right? I'm not going to concentrate much on these things, right? Because it will take much time.
Hello. 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 Am I audible, sir?
Sure.
And one participant is asking,
Yeah.
and how to choose eta? F of eta will take, sir. Eta.
F of eta. So that to choose eta, you have to go through similarity transformation techniques. So one similar variable will not work for all variables. For a particular problem, you have to take particular similarity variable. To choose similarity variable,